There you have it, the Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele announcing the decisions and considerations of the MPC. And as widely expected, the big decision was to keep all parameters unchanged. But however, I think the bombshell, if you like, were the announcements that followed concerning the foreign exchange market. The central bank now announcing that it will no longer sell foreign exchange to bureau de change operators. It will also stop issuing new licenses to bureau de change operators, and all the funds that they would ordinarily send to the BDCs will now be sent to the banks, who would create a structure to sell those funds to deserving Nigerians who have legitimate needs for foreign exchange. Let's get back to our guests to get some quick analysis on the outcome of the meeting. Bismarck Uwani is still with us, the CEO of Financial Derivatives. We also have Emmanuel Odiaka, the CEO of ECOP Capital. And of course, from South Africa, joining us is Lawrence James. He's the head of Africa Trading at Rand Merchant Bank. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Obviously, the announcement concerning the outcome of the MPC was no big surprise, but I'll start with you, Emmanuel. Very quickly, how do you react to the announcement around the sale of foreign exchange to BDCs? Very quickly, as we do have to wrap this up shortly.
Well, that was coming. It was coming. It was long overdue. It was a bombshell, but the question will remain in the market is how much supply is CBN ready to pump into the commercial banks to meet legitimate needs? So I will leave it at that. That would be the biggest question. That will depend on if this monetary policy new tool will have a very good effect in the market.
Well, he did give some suggestion around that. He mentioned that about over 100 million naira is sold weekly, $100 million rather, is sold to BDC operators. Now, all that money will be moved back into official channels, so that sounds significant. Bismarck, if you are ready, can you just give us your perspective on this announcement? I think you are muted. We can't hear you right now.
Now,
yes, go ahead.
What I'm saying is that from a monetary policy perspective, I'm quite satisfied with the outcome of the meeting in terms of maintaining the status quo, in terms of credit optimization of credit in the system. I'm a bit disturbed about the administrative measures that are taken to actually control the markets. The administrative measures are well intended, but the point is that once supply is reduced, either not because the quantity supplied is reducing, but because the channels for putting them into the market, the price of that currency may depreciate beyond where we are because of the illegality that surrounds it. So administrative measures have never been known to work in terms of markets, but it's too early for me to make that judgment. I think at this point in time, there must be reasons. $110 million a week is $400 million a month. If it is properly channeled into the market, I don't think the demand for autonomous funds is more than that. So we should see some fair equilibrium. But I fear that asking everybody to go to a dedicated teller point in a bank to go and buy foreign exchange for even the minutest of transactions would lead to a depreciation or speculation against the naira. But generally speaking, right. I think it was a good meeting. I think the announcements were good.
Lawrence, your reaction to the announcements today?
Initially, I was very excited to hear that there was going to be some FX announcement. Obviously, not the announcement that we were speaking of before the MPC kicked off. To me, I think I agree with what was said, but I have to say, it feels like the tone of the statement gave me butterflies in my stomach because I'm not sure how this plays out. It's too soon to tell. I think saying it takes effect immediately. What happens tomorrow? Surely banks won't have the set tellers ready. So I think operationally it creates a challenge, and then obviously it almost creates another parallel market in the interim, and we should see the parallel market depreciate quite aggressively, and I'm not sure how that plays out yet.
Right. Emmanuel, do you want to react to that point that Lawrence just made? Potentially we may be creating another parallel market. In the short term, what are the likely impacts of this?
Yes, the likely impact is that we're going to see an immediate knee-jerk effect. As it is, it's almost like the parallel market never exists already. That market segment is going to shoot up immediately. We might not even get a quotation for dollar tomorrow.
Interesting point. And Bismarck, back to you again on the potential impact of this. Emmanuel has spoken to one. What else do you think may be the, quote, unintended consequences of this move?
You see, once there's an illegality, once you make something administratively illegal, it becomes like smuggling, right? It immediately it commands a premium in the market. So like Lawrence said, the reality is that today, if you call the bureau de change right now, it says I have no supply. So if I desperately have to travel today, I say, okay, at what price? I can't find it, but if I can find it for you, to be 600 or something like that. You're going to be hearing outrageous things. So I think, what was the alternative? If you didn't make it immediate, speculators will take advantage and they will pile up. So, but fundamentally, markets work. So what you need to do is to actually adjust the rate of exchange, the official rate of exchange, to make it infinitely more expensive for you to. So only legitimate people who have things will be able to buy. But administrative controls of prices anywhere, be it petrol, be it electricity, be it rice, be it cars, be it foreign exchange, come out with the same thing. You will distort market forces. So I think, like I said, the intentions are good, but like they say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
All right, Lawrence, I'll give you the final word as we round up. Your final thoughts on today's meeting.
Yeah, I think as expected, I was hoping to hear more around kind of the interest rate or the almost side of the interest rate outlook, but I think in general, as expected, and obviously the FX curve bull is going to be interesting to see how it plays out in the next couple of weeks.